He came and he said, I really like your across the lift. And I said, what do you care that we don't spend a lot of time talking about motorcycles? He said, no, I don't care. I just space filler, you know. He said, I like watching it.
Space, what do you call it? Space filler. 5-star space filler.
But it's a 5-star space filler, not just a 1-star, you know.
That's good.
It's like a John Waters
That's
one.
good.
John Waters.
The highest of compliments, space filler. All right. Quick across the lift this week. As you notice, I don't have my microphone.
That's fine. That way you can speak and nobody can hear you.
Yeah. You got invited to go fishing and camping this weekend.
Oh yeah, I thought you were leaving early today.
No. Plus there's a long F1 weekend.
So you're going to stay home for the TV and eat popcorn?
Apparently they're making it more like MotoGP. I've never watched MotoGP, but
what are they doing?
So today's qualifying.
Right.
Normally it's on Saturday.
Right. Tomorrow they have a sprint race. On Sunday they have the real race. That's what they started doing this year, which is so much more fun to watch.
Yeah,
it's like Superbike where they have 2 races, one on one day, one on the other.
So they introduced sprint races last year.
Right.
But it was you qualified on Friday, you race the sprint race on Saturday, and then depending where you ended up in the sprint race.
Right, that's the same thing that MotoGP does.
Okay, so now you qualify Friday for Sunday's race, and then they have a quick qualifying Saturday, and then a sprint race that's completely separate from the rest of the weekend, which I think is a better...
Parity's what you want. You don't want the same guy winning all the time. You
Yeah.
want to see some racing. You want to see some other people get up there.
What happened last year is a bottom of the pack guy, it was a rain hit during qualifying, and a bottom of the pack guy qualified first, and then Saturday was a sprint race and everybody passed him in the sprint race, so he ended up starting the race at like 8th, and then by the end of the race he was like down to 15th.
Well, but I mean, you see that, you know, depends on the situation, who's got their bike dialed in and so on and so forth, so
yeah. I don't watch MotoGP, and Nathan doesn't watch F1, so we don't have...
Cars have too many wheels. Yeah, cars have too many wheels.
Anyways.
So you could have 2 motorcycles for every 1 car. But one of the things that's been great in the last... Since Marquez got hurt, there's been a lot of parity.
That's the guy
8 different people won races last year, and there's like tons of different people getting on the podium, so it's great.
So Rossi dominated.
Rossi's gone. Rossi's got a race team, but he retired.
Okay.
Yeah, Rossi did, and then Marquez came up, and you know.
And he's the new Rossi, I guess?
Sort of, except that lately he hasn't raced because he hurt himself, then he came back, and he did something stupid, ran into somebody, broke his thumb. His brother Alex now is running Ducati, and he's doing pretty well. He's still tied. Marquez is still tied to Honda. So, but you know, I like watching the races. Part of it's because anybody can win at this point, and within reason, though, Ducati is totally dominating everything this year. But Suzuki won last week. John Mears is a great rider. He was world champion.
How many bikes does Ducati have?
Well, the thing is this, and there's been a bunch of discussion about this. There's the factory teams, which maybe have 2. But then there's the satellite teams. A lot of the satellite teams are running last year's bikes, but they're still podium. So you can't stop them from having a satellite team. And a lot of people are saying, you shouldn't have this many Ducatis. You know, you should have better parity in bikes. It is what it is. I mean, you know, if one guy's doing better now, I mean, Honda dominated for years. Nobody said a whole lot about that. So
yeah, unless other manufacturers come in and invest.
Well, there is, you know, and Ducati is the smallest of all those manufacturers.
Is BMW in there?
BMW's racing. Yep.
Oh,
not in. Well, they're racing Superbike.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that, you know, if that's the best bike now, that's the best bike. The other people should be able to figure it out.
They got R100 RTs in there.
No, they're going to have a class of just R100 RTs.
Okay.
And we'll let you race ours. You have to smoke a cigar while you race, sit upright, no leaning.
I'd be the most comfortable guy on the track. I'd open up the air ducts.
When I worked for a place called Freeman Cycle Sales in Beverly, Mass, back down in the 70s sometime, early 70s. Skippy, who was the owner's son, who now owns the business, we put a race bike together on our 75, and we would go up to Loudon, and he would race it, and he would always be in the back, and he'd be coming through a turn, and he'd see Upright zipping up his jacket or something. He's kind of like, what's his name, who played Camus in Talladega Nights. How he's just driving down the road in first place, reading Camus.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen, right. He's kind of the same way. I'm racing, zip up my jacket, wave to people.
I'm surprised you've seen Talladega Nights.
I've seen it a couple times. I love Sacha Baron Cohen stuff. Billy Bobby, Bobby.
With the jizz and the jukebox.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I like watching racing too because I tried to do it years ago. Obviously it wasn't, it's just a rider. But I raced for 6 years. It was a lot of fun, and that whole culture and that whole setting up with that whole tech, and then qualifying, and then all this is fun. I liked it a lot. It's just, if somebody would pay for it, I'd do it again. But I'm not going to spend that kind of money on it anymore.
Yeah, I was thinking about like the 24 hours of lemons. We've talked about that before.
24 hours of lemons.
Yeah. Where you have a $500 limit of what you can spend on your car. So last weekend we didn't do a cross lift because I went to Florida for my mom's birthday.
Right. Happy 60th birthday, Mom.
Yeah. And I started misfiring. As like
you started or your car started?
My car started misfiring.
So maybe you were farting or something.
No. And probably because it's a 7-hour drive. I figured out that if I worked my way up into 5th as quick as I could and then babied it,
you'd get up to speed.
I'd get up to speed.
Yeah.
Even if the guy behind me didn't love me. But I was like maybe 4 hours in, I was like, it started misfiring less than 2 hours into the drive. I was like, I think I just like this stuff. I feel like any normal person would have turned back around and gotten a rental car, but I'm like, I kind of like
adventure. That's part of the deal.
Taking something that's barely hanging on and trying to make it 14 hours.
Well, obviously you did it, so.
Yeah, and it's probably the most fun I've had in a vehicle for a long time. Yeah.
Well, obviously you don't have a whole lot of fun in vehicles, but that's another story.
I like it. I like pushing it to the limit, trying to figure out how to get back home, and
Good. But you're getting ready to donate that car.
I am.
To some other unsuspecting victim. Owner.
Yeah, I'd love to give it to somebody, but
also do it.
I can make so much money on save.
Look,
so much
I
money
gave you
on
a car,
taxes.
and I wrote it off, and we worked the deal so that you didn't have a whole lot of it. You can give it to anybody you want. You just need somebody to explain to them how to do their taxes so that it works out for the both of you.
But
there's nothing illegal about it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of doing it.
It also needs a lot.
Give it to somebody you want to give it to, somebody who needs it. I gave that S10 to that kid across the street here, 5, 6 years ago. He took him home one night, the other side of town. He was here at 9 o'clock. What are you doing? Waiting for a ride.
Yeah.
Where do you live? On the other side of town. Come on. He got there, and his family was there. And I said, a couple of days later, I said, here's my truck. And he immediately cleaned it. He was at the detail shop. Immediately, it looked twice as good. I said, well, maybe I want that back again.
Yeah.
And he made it shine.
He probably changed his life.
Probably so.
He probably got a better job.
He started working for a welding company, someplace he could commute.
That
was great. I was happy with that.
That's why I'm so attached to that car, is because I didn't have, just having a reliable form of. First off, I was the only person in my friend group who actually saved up and bought a car for themselves. Everybody else had their parents' cars. Because it was, 2012, 2010, we were going through what the kids right now are going through, where the used market just went insane.
Used market is insane, no doubt about it.
Changes your life, having something to get you to a different job.
Now you could just buy an electric bicycle.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but the Amish have embraced electric bicycles now for ways to get around. Somehow they've rewritten their Bible, and instead of using the horse-drawn carriages, they're using electric bikes.
Unless it has zippers?
It doesn't have a zipper on an electric bike. Unless Frankenstein's riding it, then he's got one, over here somewhere.
Huh.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. They're entering into modern times. They're still doing everything by hand, but you know.
But they skipped regular bicycles.
Oh, they use regular bicycles too, but
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, they use
I thought
regular
they
bicycles,
jumped
but
from
not
horse to-
not as main means of transport. Just as you know, I don't think they have a law against it. But now it's a big deal. They're embracing electric bicycles. And, you know.
I saw a video of an Amish kid doing donuts in his horse and buggy cart. He's just in a parking lot. Just
That's great.
It's pretty funny. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Yep.
You have anything motorcycle to talk about before we?
Motorcycles.
We gotta keep this short so I can edit it.
I don't know anything about motorcycles. Let me think.